Most men have no idea how to flirt with women. So in the next few minutes, I'll teach you 3 flirting techniques that I personally use all the time to spark attraction from women, which are extremely effective. And stick around for number 3 because I promise you, you haven't heard this anywhere else before. Not only that, if you want my free Logical Man's Guide to Flirting that got over 267,000 views on Reddit, click the link in the description below. My name is Gus Olsen, and over the past 2 months, I've had the pleasure of dating over 100 fantastic women, all of whom I met through day game called Approach. So let's learn the 3 flirting techniques that will massively upgrade your dating social skills. Technique number 1. Roleplay. Roleplay involves creating a playful and imaginary scenario where both you and the girl take on different roles and characters. So what are some examples of roleplay? A classic example, if she speaks a different language to yours, you can start assuming the identity of a student who is very hardworking but can also get quite distracted by her attractive teacher, which happens to be her. So you don't just say, hey, you are very beautiful, because the girl has heard that thousands of times before. But if you say, wow, I'm trying to learn this new language, and don't get me wrong, you're quite a good teacher, but sometimes I get quite distracted. You're communicating the same thing that you like her, but in a more playful way. The reason that this technique is powerful because it allows us to step outside of our everyday reality and also allows us to engage in a playful fantasy. This escapism can be super exciting as it allows us to explore different identities, roles, and scenarios. And this is the key thing here. By participating in a shared fantasy, both you and the girl become more invested in the interaction. And remember, one of the key principles in seduction is getting the women to invest in the interaction. And so this technique is amazing for getting the girl to invest more and hence starting to like you even more. Flirting technique number 2. Shared narrative. This involves creating or referencing a fictional story that both you and the girl you're flirting with participate in. How this is different from roleplay is that instead of focusing on the different characters you have, you focus on the shared story. An example might be that you go on a date and let's say that you both find out that you like wine. What you might suggest the girl then is, as wine connoisseurs, we're gonna test the 3 best places for wine in our city tonight. So now you're not just having an ordinary drink. No, you are exploring the best places for wine in your city. And now it has a bit of an added importance to your date. And this shared narrative creates a unique experience between you two, something that's special and exclusive. And that allows you to deepen the connection. And it also clearly builds comfort, which is a key element for seduction. The more comfort she feels, the more she'll invest, and the further you can take the interaction. And also you can reference the shared narrative to make suggestions. A classic bad example of a guy making a suggestion is telling the girl, well, you want to come back to my place? This is boring and predictable. Now, the shared narrative we just explored, you could instead say, well, we just explored the 2 best places of wine tonight. Now, it might be surprising, but I actually did open up a winery in my home, and my friends have said it might be one of the best wines they've ever drunk. So as wine connoisseurs, we can go and explore this new wine and you can give me your expert opinion. Essentially here I'm just referencing the shared narrative of exploring the top 3 places of wine in your city, and the best one just happens to be in my home. The girl obviously knows what's going on, but it's a much more playful way to invite her to your home. So if you can learn to do this well, it's going to take your conversations and dates to the next level. And the flirting technique number 3, and one of my favorite flirting techniques, blaming everything on her. I personally love this technique, and I haven't heard many people talk about this. So it's when you do something, but you actually blame it on her playfully. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you are escalating physically and sort of getting close to her. Sometimes this might make her feel a bit shy and tense. And what's the best way to release negative tension? It's addressing the situation with humor. So what you might say as you're getting closer to her is you can look at her and say, wow, look at you getting close. You really like to go fast, don't you? What she's gonna then say is, me? I'm not doing anything. It's all you. To which you can then say, sure, of course not. We can pretend that you're not doing anything. That's fine. Obviously saying this with a playful smirk on your face. Now this is great. It calls out the elephant in the room, makes her feel a lot more comfortable, and actually subconsciously shifts the blame to her. The usual dynamic on a date is a guy trying to get the girl. And it's very, very boring dynamic for most women. But if you can reverse this dynamic even the slightest and she can become the one that's chasing, it's a much more playful and interesting date for her, because most times it doesn't happen. And as human beings, we crave experiences that are unique, not the experiences that happen every day all the time. So in this video, we have explored 3 amazing flirting techniques, and I've also tried to give you a psychological background of why they work. Obviously, there are a lot more flirting techniques, and in future videos, we'll take a look at other techniques with the same depth as we did today. And also, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you want my logical man's guide to flirting completely for free, that not only gives you different techniques, but also mindset and characteristics of flirting, click the link in the description.